When you wake up in the morning, the very first words you allow to pass through your lips are more powerful than you realize. Those words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Seeds that plant the atmosphere of your day. Seeds that can either sprout weeds of worry or gardens of peace. That's why you can't afford to let the first thing you say in the morning be a complaint or a sigh of defeat or a whisper of exhaustion. You've got to learn to let your first words set your soul in alignment with heaven, your prayer, your declaration, your acknowledgement of God's presence. It becomes the compass for where your spirit will travel before you even step out the door. Think about it. If you roll over, grab your phone and let the notifications decide your first thoughts, then you've handed over the power of your day before it's even begun. But if you roll over, lift your heart and begin to speak life, you shift everything. The power of first words is that they command the atmosphere. They call order into the chaos. They remind your spirit that today is not just another day. It is a gift that has been entrusted to you. Prayer in the morning is like tuning an instrument before a performance. You don't play the song and then tune the strings afterward. No, you pause, you prepare, you align so that when it's time to play, the music flows in harmony. Your words in the morning carry authority. And maybe nobody ever told you this, but authority is not something you wait for someone else to give you. It's something God has already placed inside of you. When you open your mouth and declare, today I choose peace. Today I choose strength. Today I walk in God's favor. You are not just making nice statements. You are issuing a decree in the spiritual realm, and heaven listens. The earth listens. Even the challenges that are waiting for you later in the day begin to lose their grip because you've already spoken into existence who you will be and how you will respond. It's easy to underestimate the power of your first words, especially when the weight of yesterday is still pressing on you. But that's why morning prayer is so necessary. It's your chance to release the leftovers from yesterday's storms and step into the fresh mercies that today brings. Scripture says his mercies are new every morning. But if your first words are still bound up in what happened yesterday, you might miss the newness that's been laid out for you. So you've got to speak words that leave yesterday behind. Words that say, this is a new day and I refuse to drag the old chains into it. Some mornings you won't feel like it. Some mornings the heaviness will sit so hard on your chest that the easiest words to speak are the negative ones. But that's when you've got to push past feelings and step into faith. Prayer is not about what you feel in the moment. It's about what you know to be true. And the truth is, your words have the power to create. Your words have the power to shift. Your words have the power to establish peace before chaos tries to knock on your door. So even when your emotions want to speak defeat, let your spirit rise up and declare life. When you begin your day with prayer, you are building a shield around yourself. You're saying to fear, you don't get the first word. You're saying to anxiety, you don't get to write the story of my day. You're saying to doubt, you don't get to sit in the driver's seat. Instead, you're saying, God, you are my first word, my best word, and the foundation of my day. That's why the power of your first words is so much greater than you may realize. It's not just about saying something. It's about creating the space where heaven can invade earth in your life. So before you let the noise of the world dictate your rhythm, pause. Before you check your messages, take a breath. Before you let fear have a chance to whisper, open your mouth and declare life. Your first words carry power. Your first words set the tone. Your first words are the prayer that welcomes peace, strength, and divine order into your day. Begin with prayer and watch how your whole day begins to change. There's something sacred about the way a new morning separates you from yesterday. It's almost as if God himself pressed reset while you were sleeping, gifting you another opportunity to begin again. But here's the truth. Many of us wake up still carrying the burdens from the day before. We roll over with the same heaviness, the same worry, the same disappointment. And without even realizing it, we allow yesterday's weight to dictate today's possibilities. That's why prayer in the morning is not just routine, it's release. It's your invitation to lay down what no longer serves you and make room for the blessings God has already prepared for this day. When you choose to begin your day in prayer, you're shifting from burdens to blessings. You're saying, I don't have to carry what broke me yesterday because God has promised me strength for today. And isn't that the beauty of grace? That no matter how heavy the night was, His mercies are new every single morning. You don't have to drag around what disappointed you, what betrayed you, what scared you, or what weighed you down. Prayer is your chance to hand it over, to unload the baggage, and to say, Lord, I give this to you because I cannot walk into a new day shackled to an old struggle. So many people live trapped in a cycle of carrying yesterday's burdens into today's opportunities. They miss what's in front of them because their eyes are still fixed on what's behind them. But morning prayer is where you draw the line. It's where you decide that yesterday may have broken something in you, but it won't define you. It's where you choose to walk out of the shadow of failure and step into the light of possibility. It's where you look at the ashes of what didn't work out and still lift your hands to thank God for what He's about to build in their place. And here's the thing, when you release burdens through prayer, you're not just emptying yourself, you're positioning yourself to be filled. Because God doesn't just want you to let go of weight. He wants you to take hold of blessing. That blessing may look like peace when everything around you says you should be anxious. It may look like joy that doesn't even make sense in the middle of struggle. It may look like unexpected favor showing up where doors were once locked, but you cannot receive what your hands are too full to hold. That's why you've got to pray it out, surrender it all, and let God trade your burdens for His blessings. Sometimes we think carrying the weight makes us strong, but strength isn't measured by how much pain you can hold. It's measured by how much faith you can release. Prayer reminds you that you were never created to carry it all on your own. And the enemy loves when you forget that. He loves when you wake up heavy, distracted, and tired, because then you miss the opportunities hidden in the day. But when you wake up and shift the atmosphere through prayer, you remind Him that He doesn't get to keep you bound. You remind Him that while He tried to weigh you down, God is still lifting you up. Some mornings you'll wake up with tears still drying on your pillow. Some mornings the memory of betrayal or failure will be the first thing that greets you. But that's when prayer becomes your greatest act of defiance. Because prayer says, yes, it hurt, but it will not hold me. Yes, I'm tired, but I am still here. Yes, yesterday tried to break me, but today I choose blessing. And that declaration shifts everything. It shifts how you see yourself. It shifts how you see your circumstances. It shifts how you walk through your day. So don't underestimate what happens when you let prayer be your first act of surrender every morning. Don't underestimate the power of saying, God, I release this fear. I release this shame. I release this bitterness. I release this weight, and I receive your peace, your joy, and your strength. That's the shift from burden to blessing, from heaviness to hope. From yesterday's pain to today's promise. Every morning you are given a choice: carry it or release it. Live in the shadow or walk in the light. Hold on to what hurt you or reach for what heals you. Prayer is the bridge that takes you from one side to the other. And if you make that choice daily, you'll see how burdens lose their power and blessings become your portion. The truth is, life has a way of pulling you in every direction before you even have the chance to catch your breath. The moment your feet hit the floor, there are notifications waiting for your attention, responsibilities tugging at your energy, and voices competing for your focus. If you don't take the time to center yourself, the chaos of the world will gladly do it for you. That's why beginning your day with prayer isn't just a nice idea, it's necessary. It's the moment you position your heart before anything else has the chance to claim it. Prayer becomes your anchor, your reminder of what matters most, your steady place in a world that doesn't stop moving. When you position your heart through prayer, you're saying, before I let anyone else tell me who I am, I'm going to let God remind me of who he made me to be. And there's power in that, because the world will try to define you by your mistakes, your shortcomings, or even your successes. But when you start your morning in prayer, you allow God to define you by his promises. You realign your spirit with the truth that you are chosen, that you are loved, that you are equipped, and that you are covered. And when your heart is set in that place, you can step into your day with a confidence that no circumstance can shake. You see, prayer is not about escaping reality. It's about setting your heart to face reality with the right posture. It's about reminding yourself that you are not walking into this day on your own, but with the presence of the one who already knows how it will unfold. Without that alignment, it's easy to get lost in the noise. You can find yourself living reactive, letting circumstances decide how you feel, letting people dictate your worth, and letting fear shape your choices. But when your heart is positioned through prayer, you walk into the same circumstances with a completely different perspective. Instead of being tossed by every wave, you become steady because your foundation has already been set. There's something powerful about a heart that's been positioned in prayer. It doesn't mean storms won't come, but it does mean the storms won't define you. It doesn't mean challenges won't show up, but it does mean you'll have the strength to face them without crumbling. Prayer places you in alignment with heaven's perspective, and that changes how you walk through earth's problems. It changes how you treat people, how you handle stress, how you respond when life tests you. A heart that's been positioned in prayer doesn't fall apart when life gets heavy. It leans on the truth it already rehearsed that morning. And it's not just about protection from what goes wrong. It's also about preparation for what can go right. When your heart is aligned through prayer, you're more sensitive to divine opportunities. You can hear the whisper of God in moments where you might have missed him otherwise. You become more aware of the people you're called to encourage, the doors that are meant to be opened, and the blessings that are already within reach. Without prayer, those moments can easily pass by unnoticed, drowned out by the noise of business. But with prayer, your heart is tuned to notice them, to walk in them, and to give thanks for them. The world is loud, and distractions are endless. But prayer is the way you claim your focus before the noise even starts. It's how you choose to step into the day with peace when everything around you is screaming chaos. It's how you choose to step into purpose when everything else tries to pull you into pressure. And once your heart has been positioned, it doesn't matter what comes your way. You're already grounded, already centered, already prepared. So don't underestimate what happens when you pause at the start of the day and give your heart back to the one who created it. Don't overlook the power of saying, God, before I face this world, I want my heart to be in sync with you. That single decision can transform how you walk, how you speak, and how you live. Because when your heart is positioned in prayer, your entire life begins to follow that alignment. There's something powerful about declaring victory before you even see the battle. Most of the time, we wait until the storm is over to say, I made it. We wait until the promotion comes to say, I'm blessed. We wait until the sickness is healed to say, God is faithful. But prayer in the morning flips that order. It allows you to step into the day speaking what you believe instead of what you see. It's not denial. It's faith. It's looking at the unknown of a new day and saying, I don't know what's waiting for me, but I do know who walks with me. And I'm declaring victory before I even face it. That's the power of morning prayer. It's not about waiting to see how things turn out before you worship, before you trust, before you speak life. It's about deciding at the start that no matter what comes, your spirit will remain anchored. You're not declaring victory because you know every detail of what the day will hold. You're declaring victory because you know every detail of who holds the day. And when you start with that kind of declaration, it shifts your posture. You walk differently. You think differently. You respond differently because you've already decided that defeat is not an option. You've got to understand that the words you speak carry power. If you wake up declaring worry, fear, or stress, then your day will bend in that direction. But if you wake up declaring strength, peace, and favor, then you've already set the atmosphere to align with what you believe. Declaring victory in the morning isn't pretending that life won't get hard. It's proclaiming that no matter how hard it gets, you will not be broken. And when you do that, you begin to walk into challenges with courage instead of hesitation. So many times we let the day decide who we're going to be. If everything goes well, we feel strong. If things fall apart, we fall apart with them. But when you declare victory before the battle, you remove that power from your circumstances. You tell your heart, I've already chosen joy. I've already chosen faith. I've already chosen victory. So whether the day brings sunshine or storms, you're not swayed. That's the beauty of prayer in the morning. It allows you to set your mindset before the world has a chance to shake it. There are some battles you may face today that you don't even know are coming yet. A difficult conversation, an unexpected challenge, a test of your patience or your faith. But if you've already declared victory, then when those battles show up, you don't crumble under surprise. You meet them with strength. You've already prepared your spirit to stand. That's why morning prayer is not optional. It's essential. It's your preparation. It's your training ground. It's your declaration that even though the fight may come, the outcome is already secured. Sometimes the hardest part of declaring victory is when your reality looks nothing like what you're speaking. It feels strange to say, I'm healed, when the doctor's report says otherwise. It feels strange to say, I'm at peace, when your mind is racing with anxiety. It feels strange to say, I'm strong, when you feel broken. But that's the essence of faith. Faith is not rooted in what you see. It's rooted in what you know God is able to do. Declaring victory before the battle is not ignoring your reality. It's refusing to let your reality have the final say. And here's the truth. When you speak victory, your heart begins to believe it. When you speak peace, your spirit begins to align with it. When you speak strength, your body even begins to respond to it. That's why prayer is so powerful. It's not just words, it's transformation. You are literally shaping your outlook, your response, and your resilience through the declarations you make. And if you can train yourself to start each morning with that kind of victory mindset, there is nothing that can happen in your day that will be able to defeat you. So the next time you wake up, don't just stumble into the day waiting to see what happens. Open your mouth and declare, I am more than a conqueror. I am equipped for whatever comes. I am favored. I am protected. And I am walking in victory. Speak it before you see it. Declare it before you feel it. Announce it before you face it. Because when you declare victory before the battle, you are already standing in the place of triumph. That's the kind of declaration that changes everything. Gratitude is one of the most underestimated weapons you'll ever hold. People think of it as something light, something polite, something you say before a meal or after someone does you a favor. But in the spiritual realm, gratitude is warfare. It pushes back against negativity. It silences the voice of fear. And it uproots the seeds of bitterness before they can even take hold. That's why beginning your day with thanksgiving is not just about being kind. It's about being equipped. It is the way you choose to fight before the fight even begins. When you open your eyes in the morning and start by thanking God, you're sending a message that your perspective will not be controlled by problems. You're saying, yes, I see what isn't working, but I'm still grateful for what is. You're declaring that blessings still outweigh burdens, even when life feels heavy. Gratitude becomes the lens that helps you see beyond lack and recognize provision. It forces your heart to focus not on what you've lost, but on what you still have. And that simple shift changes the entire atmosphere of your day. Think about how quickly negativity tries to creep in when you wake up. The enemy will whisper about everything you don't have, everything you've failed at, everything you should fear. But the moment you begin to say, "Thank you, God, for another breath. Thank you for giving me strength. Thank you for giving me another chance," you drown out those lies with truth. Gratitude makes it impossible for despair to stay comfortable. Darkness cannot linger where light is spoken, and thanksgiving is a language of light. Gratitude also humbles you in the best way. It reminds you that you're not walking through this life on your own. You didn't wake yourself up this morning. You didn't hold the world together overnight. You didn't give yourself the breath that fills your lungs. Gratitude acknowledges the hand of God that is at work in your life, even when you don't notice it. It shifts your posture from pride to praise, from self-reliance to surrender. And in that posture, you become more open to receive what God wants to do next. Sometimes people think they need to wait for big miracles to be grateful, but that's where so many miss it. Gratitude isn't just for the mountaintop moments. It's for the ordinary, quiet, often overlooked blessings. Waking up in your right mind, having food on your table, being surrounded by people who care about you, the gift of a new day. These are miracles in plain sight. And when you choose to thank God for them, you stop treating the ordinary as common and start seeing it for the divine provision it really is. Gratitude opens your eyes to blessings that were always there but easily taken for granted. And here's the secret. Gratitude not only changes your outlook, it strengthens your faith. When you start your day remembering all that God has already done, you find it easier to believe Him for what He hasn't done yet. Gratitude builds your memory bank of miracles. It reminds you that if He carried you yesterday, He can carry you again today. If He opened one door before, He can open another now. Gratitude turns your prayer from desperation into expectation. Instead of begging God to show up, you begin to thank Him in advance because you trust that He already will. The enemy hates gratitude because it strips him of his power. He thrives on your complaints, your comparisons, your discontent. But when you choose thanksgiving, you take away the fuel he feeds on. You close the door to envy, to resentment, to despair. Gratitude blinds the enemy because it keeps your eyes fixed on God. And when your eyes are fixed on Him, there's no room to be distracted by what the enemy is trying to do. There will be mornings when gratitude doesn't come easy, when life feels overwhelming, when the losses seem louder than the blessings, when the pain feels heavier than the joy. But even then, gratitude is your way of choosing to see beyond what hurts and acknowledge what heals. You may not feel grateful in the moment, but when you open your mouth and begin to speak it, something shifts inside you. Your spirit lifts. Your heart softens. Your perspective expands. That's the miracle of gratitude. It doesn't just change what you see. It changes how you see. So don't just make gratitude an afterthought. Let it be the very first thing you release into the atmosphere every morning. Before you ask for anything, thank Him for everything. Thank Him for what He's already done and thank Him for what He's about to do. Gratitude is your weapon, your shield, your anthem. Start your day with thanksgiving and watch how victory follows you. Every single day you wake up, you're stepping into unknown territory. You don't know what phone call might come, what challenge might rise up, or what opportunity might appear. And if you try to walk into that kind of uncertainty on your own strength, it's only a matter of time before you feel lost, anxious, or overwhelmed. That's why prayer in the morning is not just about peace. It's about strategy. It's your chance to invite divine guidance before you make a single move. It's where you sit at the table with God and say, order my steps, direct my path, and lead me where I'm meant to be. Because the truth is, no matter how intelligent, talented, or prepared you are, you cannot see the whole picture. You only see pieces. You only see what's right in front of you. But God sees the beginning and the end, and he knows the route that will take you through the valleys and up to the mountaintops. That's why prayer is so vital. It allows you to trade your limited vision for his unlimited wisdom. When you begin your day by seeking his direction, you're not just wandering through, you're walking with purpose. There's a confidence that comes when you know you're being guided. You don't second guess every decision because you've already surrendered your choices to the one who sees it all. You don't panic when obstacles show up because you know if he led you there, he's already prepared a way through. That kind of assurance only comes from prayer. Without it, you're left to depend on your own understanding, and that will only take you so far. But with it, you tap into a wisdom that stretches beyond your years, beyond your education, beyond your experience. And guidance isn't just about avoiding wrong turns. It's also about recognizing the right ones. There are doors that look good but aren't meant for you. There are opportunities that shine bright but will only drain you. Without divine guidance, it's easy to run toward what glitters and miss what's truly gold. But when you pray in the morning and ask God to lead you, he gives you discernment. He trains your spirit to sense the difference between what looks right and what is right. He teaches you to listen for his voice, even when the world is loud with options. Prayer in the morning also covers you from unseen traps. There are things you cannot anticipate. People's intentions, hidden challenges, sudden interruptions, but God sees them all. And when you invite his guidance, he shields you from walking into what was designed to harm you. Sometimes you don't even realize how much he protected you because his hand redirected you before you ever saw the danger. That's the power of praying for guidance. It's not always about him explaining the plan. It's about him aligning your steps so that even when you don't understand, you're still safe in his will. There's also something humbling about asking for guidance. It's admitting that you don't know it all and you don't have to. It's recognizing that the creator of the universe is also the author of your life and he knows exactly how to write your story. That humility keeps you from carrying pressure that was never meant to be yours. It frees you from the burden of control. You don't have to figure it all out because you've entrusted it to the one who already has. But here's the key. You can't just ask for guidance and then ignore it. Prayer is not a monologue where you speak and walk away. It's a conversation. You pray, you listen, you lean in. Sometimes his guidance comes through a quiet nudge in your spirit. Sometimes it comes through the wisdom of someone he places in your path. Sometimes it comes through closed doors that force you in a different direction. But however it comes, you've got to trust it. Trust that his redirection is protection. Trust that his delays are preparation. Trust that his no is often a setup for a greater yes. So as you rise each morning, don't rush past the opportunity to sit in his presence and seek his direction. Don't just plan your day according to your schedule. Plan it according to his will. Invite him into every decision, every meeting, every interaction. And when you do, you'll notice the difference. You'll notice how peace follows you, how clarity surrounds you, and how even in uncertainty, you feel secure.